Angus Young, how you doing?
Good, Becko.
The Offspring.
How's it going, Becko?
Dave Grohl, how you going, mate?
Good, man.
Pete, it's been a long time coming.
Oh, Becko, hasn't it indeed?
We go inside the dressing room, speak to the biggest names in music,
Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones.
and crack open their esky.
That's exactly how I imagined you, by the way, sitting opposite me with a vodka and orange.
You're a discerning chap. This is The Rider.
Hey, it's Becko. Welcome back to The Rider. What about the Buckleys? They were on the show last week. They're a great band out of the Northern Rivers, and I would recommend you catching them live if you see them on tour in the next few months. This week on The Rider, the legendary Alice Cooper. Alice is back. A brand new album is already out called The Revenge of Alice Cooper. Back with his original band. It's been over 50-something years now since he's been back with Dennis Dunaway and the legendary Michael Bruce, Neal Smith, Glen Buxton, Alice Cooper. The Revenge of Alice Cooper is out now. Of course, we all remember when Trash came out. And there was his multiple appearances on Wayne's World. The brand new album sounds like this.
Running with the wild ones.
The brand new single, Wild Ones. The Revenge of Alice Cooper is out now. And this is Black Mamba. Alice Cooper, he is back, and it's been a while. We want to get him back to Australia really bloody soon. Alice, how are you?
Oh, thanks a lot. You know, the last time we were there, we did the big fire show there at the in Sydney with Queen. And that was, you know, we had no idea that was going to be one of the last shows we'd do for a year.
Well, this is pretty massive. The original lineup of the Alice Cooper band are back together again, and this is a band that didn't just start in Detroit. They cut their teeth in that city. Why was that city so integral to Alice Cooper's success and then the big move to LA?
Well, it is. I'm from Detroit, you know, and it's always been America's hard rock capital. I mean, that's it. You know, LA had the Doors and San Francisco had Grateful Dead, you know, totally different sounds. New York had the Young Rascals, but Detroit had, they were the Midwest. They had Iggy and the Stooges, Alice Cooper, BMC5, Bob Seger, Ted Nugent, Susie Quattro. You know, I mean, all the bands were attitude guitar rock bands. And for some reason, the Midwest, that's what they want. They don't like soft rock there.
What is it about Detroit? Is it the clubs that they would have had back then? Is it the weather? Obviously bitterly cold in winter.
It was not only the murder capital of the United States. It was not only the drug capital of the United States. Well, let's put it this way. The mayor of Detroit got busted smoking crack, and they reelected him. Okay? Does that give you an idea?
It does.
Okay. Yeah. So anyways, it's also the car capital. You know, it's where everybody built cars. Everybody's parents worked in those factories, loud machines, and it had something to do with the idea of the music needed to be that too. You know, a very not sophisticated place. Everybody knew everybody. All the bands knew everybody. And then on top of that, you had Motown. You had, the entire R&B sound was Detroit. And the funny thing was, we would do a show, you know, like it would be the Stooges, MC5, Alice Cooper, and the Who at a club, 1,500 seat club. And you'd look down and you'd see, oh, there's Smokey Robinson, and there's the Temptations, and there's some of the Supremes. They would all come to the rock shows, you know, and we would all go to the R&B shows, and there was no color involved. Nobody saw color. Everybody did, it was just music.
You were also going to places like Hollywood. I remember I went and visited the Rainbow on my very first trip, and I got chatting to one of the guys who worked there, and he goes, "Hey, come with me," and he took me up into the loft.
The loft of the vampires.
Yeah, and the Hollywood Vampires, and there is your name with, you know, you obviously got Ringo Starr and with Keith Moon and Lennon, of course.
John Lennon and everybody. That was our clubhouse. And the original Hollywood Vampires, it was a drinking club. was like nobody did drugs up there. It was all drinking, and then later on, the Hollywood Vampires. I was talking to Johnny Depp. We did a movie together, and I was telling him about the vampires, and we said, wouldn't it be great to put a band together, and we would just honor all of our dead drunk friends, because they were all dead. They were, and they would laugh at that if we called them that. In fact, we even did a song called "Dead Drunk Friends." Johnny and Joe Perry joined, and Duff McKagan was on bass, and we had an incredible band, and we still tour. The band still goes out, and the funny thing was, is people after the show always sit there and go, "I thought Johnny Depp was just up there playing rhythm guitar. Johnny is a hell of a guitar player."
Wow.
He just did an album with Jeff Beck.
Amazing.
So that kind of tells you that he's not just the actor trying to be a rock star. He was playing guitar long before he was an actor.
So at what point was drinking becoming a thing you had to stop? Was there a turning point where you decided golf was a better vice?
37 years ago, I woke up one morning and instead of throwing up beer, I threw up blood. And I went, well, that's great on stage to throw up blood.
Yeah,
but
true.
in your hotel room, it's not really, it's not very theatrical. And at that point, I knew I had to stop drinking, taking drugs, doing all that stuff. And I think that's why I'm still here. At 72 years old, I'm not just in one touring band. Now I'm in 2 touring bands, making more records than I ever did. And I've never been healthier.
Would you ever predicted that back in the day? Like, did you ever think it would go this far?
Oh, nobody did. Nobody ever thought past 30. Yeah. We were thinking when you got to 30, you need a wheelchair, and all of a sudden then you started realizing, well, the audience is growing up the same way you are. They're not just staying 17, 18 years old. All of a sudden our audiences were bigger. The audience got bigger, and they supported their bands. So you'd see the Rolling Stones out there, and you'd see Aerosmith and Alice Cooper and Rod Stewart, and all. We all had we still have a very long career, 50, 60 years.
The other one who we all didn't think would last the distance was Iggy Pop. We thought there's no way he's going to get past the 80s. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of the guys, you never expected Motley Crue to get past the 80s either. Everybody was pushing the envelope pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't make it are the guys that just didn't finally get control of what they were doing. Iggy got control of what he was doing. My wife had the greatest line, she says, with all the pestilence and all the wars and all the disease, what kind of a world are we going to leave Keith Richards?
I interviewed him 5 years ago, and it was about 10:30 in the morning, and we were in Boston, and he was already drinking a screwdriver, and smoking a cigarette during the interview.
Yeah. He is the best. He is the salt of the earth, that guy. And he will not call me Alice. Vinny. How you doing, Vinny? He'd say, how long has it been since you've had a drink, Vinny? And I say, 25 years. He goes, oh, begs the question, why? And then stumble off. And then you'd realize you were talking to Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
That's where Johnny got Jack Sparrow. This is Keith Richards.
Do people still call you Alice on your team?
Alice or Coop.
Yeah.
I get tired of your majesty. That just, gets boring after a while,
And what about the rise of Wayne's World? Did that get a bit boring as well with the we're not worthy?
Well, nobody expected that movie to do what it did. That movie made more money than Batman.
Yeah.
It was because it didn't cost anything to make. And it was really one of those movies that came along and everybody connected to it. Everybody loved that. Very quotable movie.
Yeah.
It was like Airplane or Caddyshack. You knew every line of it, And so that was just nothing but fun, but it did bring me into a whole new audience. It kind of introduced me into the 80s audience. And people said, who is this guy? I've heard about him, but that's him. Oh, it really did give me another boost into that area. And then we had Poison out right at that time too. So.
Yeah. And you're doing a radio show, which is one thing we get over here. That's a cool pastime that you can do it as almost a hobby.
17 years I've been doing it. And I'm on in Istanbul. I'm on in London. I'm on over there with you guys, a lot in the States. And I think what it is the fact that I am allowed to vary from the playlist. And I do. I'll be playing bands like Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and I'll be playing bands like Jet. I love Jet.
Good.
And I don't know what happened to that band, but we met them a few times, and I don't know if they partied out, but I love their records, man. They made some great records.
Rock to dance to. It had that beat.
It was snotty.
Yeah.
It was what rock and roll should be.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of kids that were just really snotty up there, and that's what the Stones started out being. That's what we started out being. You had to be kind of like on stage. You had to be kind of have that swagger, you know. I don't care what's going on. I'm an outlaw. Let's just have fun, and that really showed up in their records, I thought.
Now, I want to ask you something about Orianthi, because I think I saw her on one of the Oz tours with you.
Oh, yeah. She played with me for 3 years.
Yeah. And is it true that Prince tried to steal her from your band?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I'd be on the bus with Ori, and we'd be sitting there, and the phone would ring, and she'd kind of muffle the thing, and she'd go, I can't talk to that. And I said, is that Prince? And she'd go, yeah. And I'd say, Prince. I said, she's in my band, okay? I said, yeah, I was kidding, you know. I said, you know, she may not always be in my band, but for right now, she's an integral part of my band. And all I heard on the other end was, hi, Alice. She would have been perfect for him. And now I've got Nita Strauss, Hurricane Nita Strauss.
Amazing. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a model and plays like Steve Vai.
Yeah.
I mean, this girl is just, she has her own weather, you know. This girl's got her own orbit.
Yeah, she's amazing. And look, you do have one of the best bands in the world, and you're so lucky, but it's obviously because you're great to work with.
Well, you know, you surround yourself with the best players. If you're a lead singer, we know who all the good players are, you know. So when somebody comes up and you need somebody, I wasn't really looking for Nita Strauss, but I think Kip Winger called me up and said, have you seen this girl, Nita Strauss? And I went, no. I said, I'm looking for a shredder. I've already got 2 great rock guitar players. I need a shredder, though. And it wouldn't have mattered if she was a guy or a girl or any gender that she was. I said, I want whoever's playing that guitar. And he said, that's Nita Strauss. And I said, okay, she's in. And she's so much fun to work with. I mean, she's right there. And her and Ori are great friends.
Well, Alice, we're going to get you back here. You know, great golf courses, obviously, as well.
Twist my arm, okay? Believe me, I will talk to my manager, Shep, about that, saying, Australia and New Zealand are awfully good right now. Why not be over there? I think that I'll at least have them look into it.
Alice Cooper, such an honor to speak to you. We'll see you soon.
Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks a lot. And I'll see you when we get in town. We'll get out and play 18.
And I'll hold you to that as well. Alice Cooper, back with his original band. It's been 51 years, just over that. And the new album is out. It's bloody good too. The Revenge of Alice Cooper. Back with Michael and Dennis, Neal and Glen. Go and check it out now. Get it on vinyl as well. Alice Cooper. What an honor. What a chat. Next week on The Rider, one of my favourite bands is Dave Graney and the Coral Snakes. They're celebrating the anniversary of one of their biggest albums of the mid-90s. Next week, Dave Graney, Claire Moore on The Rider. We'll catch you there.